All right, fellow Esties and beauty pros, grab your snacks and buckle up, because today I'm sharing the story of my first ever nightmare client experience back in 2012, featuring an enzyme facial, a parking lot, and a very Karen-like meltdown. And trust me, the lesson I learned from this has stuck with me for the last 12 years. So let's get into it. So it's 2012. I'm freshly licensed esthetician, brand new to booth running, and let me tell you, I was excited, I was nervous, and just trying to build my clientele. One day, I had a client come in, let's just call her Karen, because, well, it just fits. Karen happened to be the mom of a guy who was dating one of my cousins. I hope you can follow that. Now, let me clarify. I was not close to this cousin at all. It was just one of those situations where they're way more excited about being related to you than you are. So Karen came in for her facial. Everything goes great. She leaves and I go about my day. What I didn't know was that as Karen was leaving, she bumped into my cousin in the parking lot and they had a little chat. The next day, I get a phone call from Karen, and let me tell you, she was furious. She said I had burned her face. She was yelling, she was rude, and honestly, she had me in literal tears. I asked her to send me some photos, and sure enough, she had what looked like burns in a few spots on her skin. I was shocked, because the enzyme I had used was not strong enough to do that kind of damage. So I did what any responsible esthetician would do. I called my product manufacturer to double check. I walked them step by step through what I did in the facial, every product used, and every protocol I followed. They reassured me that I had done everything right. There was nothing in that enzyme mask that could have caused those burns. I relayed all of this back to Karen, but of course it wasn't good enough. She was already on a rampage, and you know what she did next? She blasted me all over Facebook. I was mortified. I thought my entire career was over. I was still so new, and I was terrified that this one client would ruin everything that I had worked for. But then my cousin texted me. And she said, "Hey, that's weird, because when Karen left your facial, her skin looked amazing. It was glowing, no signs of irritation at all." And then she dropped the bomb. They had been standing in the hot sun, in the parking lot, on blacktop, for almost 30 minutes after the facial. Now we all know, after a facial, especially one with enzymes or any chemical exfoliation, the skin is extra sensitive. And even though I applied sunscreen, baking in the sun for a half an hour, that's gonna cause some issues. And yet, instead of acknowledging that, Karen decided to blame me. In the end, I had already refunded her money. Big mistake, by the way, because I hadn't actually done anything wrong. But I learned a huge lesson from that experience. Always ask more questions. Don't just assume that the client is right, because sometimes clients will blame you for things that were completely out of your control. And honestly, it was a tough lesson, but it's one that's stuck with me for my entire career. So that's the story of my first ever nightmare client experience. But let me tell you, there are plenty more where that came from. If you enjoyed this storytelling and want more, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And if you're a beauty pro with your own crazy client story, send it my way. I'd love to read it in an upcoming video. And of course, I'll keep it anonymous. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.